They have a bigger talent pool potentially, and they're going to give them anything it takes to potentially get this team back to a national championship. And if you want to set a legacy, you could maybe have one good year at Ole Miss and maybe potentially, 5 or 6 9-3 campaigns, but you're not going to make the playoff each and every season, or at least that's the mindset. You have a better path at LSU or a bigger school.
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
Now you're a 1 o'clock guy again, huh?
Well, I didn't know I have to appease you.
What do you mean appease me? I'm trying to get a read on you.
Well, that's it. I don't want you to get a read. I zig.
Okay.
What are you? You're on me like flies on rice.
Well, I once watched you destroy an NFL team's season because you zagged so hard in the Best Bet segment.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
When LeBron James decides he's retiring, it is coming with trumpets blaring, Adam Silver by his side, and he is going on a state-by-state, coast-to-coast tour so that everyone can acknowledge how great he was and give him a parting gift and thank him for his amazing contributions to the NBA.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
The play is Our Fam. You don't know about Our Fam? Go look her up on social media. Go look at YouTube. 19-year-old from Spain, 6'6", block shots, runs the floor, rebounds, post up, inside, outside, pop the corn, serve the beer, and it can clean up the mess when you're done eating your meal. This lady is absolutely fantastic.
Pro Basketball Today, only on SportsGrid.
Get in here, party people. It's a Wednesday. It's hump day. You're almost there to the weekend. You can see it right now. Christmas on the horizon, but more importantly, huge football games on the horizon as we just previewed the Detroit Lions and the Dallas Cowboys. They're going to tee it up tomorrow night on Thursday Night Football, and away we go into the weekend, which will end with those Philadelphia Eagles on Monday Night Football taking on the Los Angeles Chargers. And by the time we get to that game, Joe, we will know exactly who's in the college football playoff. No need to have any more arguments because that field will be set in stone. But over the next hour, we got a couple guests coming in here. We're going to talk golf. Love to see that. We're going to talk even more with George Kurtz about some of the battles on the ice and also about his Dallas Cowboys. Oh, man, I'm telling you, Joe, we got something set up for you here, hour number 2. Don't you miss it. Don't you miss it, people.
Nope, do not go anywhere. A lot to go over. A lot of craziness. A lot of what ifs. There's a lot still to be determined over the next. I don't know, Donnie. 4 or 5 days here that are going to shape what happens the rest of the year. Can't believe it's December. Wow.
It is December. December to remember, people. Let's see if we can make that happen here. And also getting to the early lineup, which includes Darius Slay. He used to have Decembers to remember in Philadelphia as they were making multiple Super Bowl runs, a Super Bowl champion last year as they knocked off the Kansas City Chiefs. But this year, doesn't seem like it's working out. A free agent contract signed to the Pittsburgh Steelers. He doesn't even make it barely into the month of December. He's looking for another job, and rightfully so. He just hasn't been good for the Pittsburgh Steelers. They release him here. We'll see where he winds up next.
Well, remember, they went into the season signing Slay, getting Ramsey, having Joey Porter Jr. They had Thornhill and Elliott as their starting safeties. Now they've had some injuries, obviously, but it doesn't change the fact, Donnie, that this is a secondary that's 28th in the NFL in passing yards allowed. And he's a big reason why. He's been inconsistent. He's been hurt. He's not the same guy. As crazy as that is, you get that bag, Donnie, and all of a sudden, it's amazing. Guys aren't nearly as good as they once were.
Exactly. A cornerback in his mid-30s doesn't last too long, and Darius Slay had a great career. He was fantastic with Detroit for the majority of his time in Philadelphia. Very, very good, just not as good in Pittsburgh because Father Time catches up to everybody, particularly skill-level players in the NFL at cornerback. They're supposed to be 21, 22, 23, 24, not 33, 34, 35, and 36. We'll see where Slay lands, because the one thing we do know is, just like everybody needs bullpen help in Major League Baseball, everybody just needs healthy bodies at the quarterback position that are veterans. He's probably going to land somewhere here. Steph Curry, he's waiting to get back into the lineup for the 11-11 Golden State Warriors. That's going to take some time, maybe 3 more games missed here.
Well, he better hurry up, because Golden State can't score any points without him. So he is literally the offensive production for this team. So the sooner he can get back, the better chance that Golden State has of actually winning some games here and at least being competitive instead of getting blown out by double digits every night.
I thought it was interesting here in college football when we heard Kalani Sitake could be the new head coach of Penn State. And we talked about it right here on the show, where I thought that'd be a great move for Penn State. A guy that's won at BYU. There's a lot of restrictions and restraints there. Now you send him over to Penn State where the expectations are high, and a guy that can probably handle everything here. He's going to stay at BYU. Why? Because their boosters stepped up and said, what's it going to take to keep you home? We know you like it here. And Crumble Cookies, owner, co-founder, CEO, stepped up to the plate and delivered a plate of cookies there to Sitake. He's going back to BYU with an extension here. Big move for BYU to keep him home. And also, what the heck is going on at Penn State?
Yeah, well, that's the problem also, Donnie, right? Here we are thinking that Penn State under the radar, doing their business, not making a lot of fuss about. Yeah, it turns out they might not have a clue as to what they are doing here. But the reality is, kudos to those evil cookie crumbles, and they are evil, Donnie. Don't ever go in one of those stores. My goodness, unbelievable. But he's an alumni of BYU, and I love that the university and the alumni have come up and been like, you're not going anywhere. You're home. You're going to coach this football team. And the guy has been absolutely amazing for that BYU football team. All he's done is won, and now they have a chance of making the college football playoff. I'm so glad that they're ponying up and keeping him right where he belongs.
Which, again, the question comes from Penn State. Like, that should be a job that people are kicking, clawing, and screaming to get to.
Yes.
Like, you bring it back to my Miami days. Like, hey, Miami hired Al Golden. Like, you're supposed to get a rock star. You just got the Temple head football coach here, and we know how that worked out. I'm not saying Penn State can't make the right decision at this point, but this should have been like, we just fired James Franklin. They go, what's going on here? Look, the AD can't even get out of his own office, Joe, because he's inundated with rock star head coaches begging to take a pay cut just to get to Penn State. And that's not happening right now. We'll see where it actually lands. Penn State needs a head coach, still looking, but those rock stars, too few and far between right now. What we thought was going to be a rock star in the NBA is Zion. He just rocks out on the sideline at this point. Another couple weeks will be reevaluated for some help here. He just can't stay healthy. And you know what? Injured guys always stay injured.
Yeah, I think he's at least 3 weeks, they're saying, maybe. And we all know it's likely more, because he's not exactly a gym rat, Donnie. And when he gets hurt, he doesn't exactly bounce right back here. It takes him forever to recuperate. So in rehab, I think he's played his last game for the Pelicans. The Pelicans have a new front office from last year. I think they're just going to wash their hands with him. And that they drafted Derek Queen, right, out of Maryland last draft. He's been phenomenal. It's time to hit the reset button. It's time to move on from Zion Williamson.
Hey, I mean, it is, and I don't know where you go with New Orleans at this point either. It's just not working. You got to cut bait. Maybe you get something back for the guy. We'll certainly find out. How about Jared Curtis? You ever heard of that name before? No, you haven't? Why? It's the number one quarterback here that says, you know what? I don't want to go to play for the Georgia Bulldogs. I want to go to Vanderbilt. Here's the only question. Diego Pavia is probably going to go to court every single year after the season ends and probably be a 38-year-old football player when it's all said and done. Will Jared Curtis even get to play at Vandy because Pavia is going to continue to sue to stay at Vanderbilt?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting here, but the fact that he's planning on making that switch and bouncing out of Georgia and going to Vandy, that's a huge get for Clark Lee, who just signed a pretty big contract extension himself, building quite the powerhouse there at Vandy, aren't they, in the SEC, Danny?
I like it. No longer the doormat. Used to be a doormat because they're a good school and they keep the GPA high up there for the SEC. No longer the case. This team is really good on the football field. Love what they're building down there for the Commodores. And talk about building, Joe. Let's go to the Olympics here. And let me just get a quick PSA out. if you are going to bid on getting the Olympics here, you shouldn't have to build any new arenas. Your infrastructure should already be there. Because correct me if I'm wrong, like LA is going to get the Olympics. I don't see them building another arena. Why? Because they already have the arenas and the stadiums you need to have the Olympics in your own country here. And I love to hear this. Like, we're going to build a hockey arena. Oh, no, we messed up the dimensions. All right, cool. We'll still play there.
All jokes aside, like, stop it. That's, I mean, there is nothing more Olympics than this right here, this story, Donnie. Everything they do is always under the gun. They can never get it right. It's hilarious. And then the best part is, they build these structures all the way around the world for what? 2 months worth of use, and then they all fall apart anyway. So it's unbelievable the racket they got going on with the Olympics.
It really is. Like, you go back and look at, like, the Greece, like, oh, this is where they played softball. It's like, yeah, this hasn't been used in 20 years. Or even back to, like, Sarajevo, where, like, oh, it's all bombed out and gone and nobody used it. It's incredible here what actually happens and the carnage that leaves and how much money's placed into it, never to be used again. What happened to all those, football stadiums and soccer stadiums over the years that they built for, like, the World Cup? It's like they don't even get used anymore. It's absolutely incredible. Erling Haaland, and by the way, he scores, Joe, his 100th goal, the fastest in the Premier League. Does he have a nickname? He can't go by like Erling. He can't be going by Erling, right? He's got to have a nickname.
I think he's the Rooster, isn't he? Or no, wait, we have a that's a different one. He might be the European Rooster, right? Although Gallinari, I think, is European as well. I have no idea, Donnie. But kudos to him. That's a pretty impressive feat there in the Premier League.
By the way, do you know who he passed for 100 goals fastest, Joe? Can you give a guess? I know who it is.
Who? Who is it?
Freddie Adu. Freddie Adu had 100 goals here faster than anybody else. Remember Freddie Adu? Yeah, he was really good. We're going to move on to George Kurtz next and talk some Dallas Cowboys. Real football, not fake football.
They have a bigger talent pool potentially, and they're going to give them anything it takes to potentially get this team back to a national championship. And if you want to set a legacy, you could maybe have one good year at Ole Miss and maybe potentially, 5 or 6 9-3 campaigns, but you're not going to make the playoff each and every season, or at least that's the mindset. You have a better path at LSU or a bigger school.
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
You're a 1 o'clock guy again, huh?
Well, I didn't know I have to appease you.
What do you mean appease me? I'm trying to get a read on you.
Well, I don't. That's it. I don't want you to get a read. I said.
Okay.
What are you? You're on me like flies on rice.
Well, I once watched you destroy an NFL team's season because you zagged so hard in the best bet segment.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
When LeBron James decides he's retiring, it is coming with trumpets blaring, Adam Silver by his side, and he is going on a state-by-state, coast-to-coast tour so that everyone can acknowledge how great he was and give him a parting gift and thank him for his amazing contributions to the NBA.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
The play is our fam. You don't know about our fam? Go look her up on social media. Go look at YouTube. 19-year-old from Spain, 6'6", block shots, runs the floor, rebounds, post up, inside, outside, pop the corn, serve the beer, and it can clean up the mess when you're done eating your meal. This lady is absolutely fantastic.
Pro Basketball Today, only on SportsGrid.
Hump Day Wednesday right here on the SportsGrid Network. Time for fun, time for games, time for information. It's Donnie Rightside, it's Joe Ranieri, and here's George Kurtz joining us today because why? We got some business to talk about. 2 weeks ago, we might have looked at the Dallas Cowboys and said, man, come on now. We're already looking towards 2026 and beyond. Not the case. One of the hottest teams in the NFL, George. How are we feeling today?
As a Cowboy fan, we're feeling pretty good. You said it, Donnie. 2 weeks ago, that season's over. We'll see what draft pick we can get. We got a couple of number ones. We'll play for next year here. Now, it's in front of you. It's really in front of you. You can beat Detroit tomorrow night, which won't be easy by any stretch of the imagination. But you do that, then you get Minnesota, no quarterback. Chargers, quarterback with a broken hand. And the Commanders and Giants, who really, it doesn't really matter. They have nothing going on there. So it's in front of them if they can get by it tomorrow night. Of course, as Joe Ranieri and I have played the game here, if you're going to put the Cowboys in, who are you taking out?
Come on, Joe. Yeah. Answer him, Joe.
Yeah. Well, that's the problem, right? Who are you taking out? And I'll tell you what, a win against Detroit, that would be one team that we can cross off the list there, George, I think, of actually making it through there. And they'll have some opportunities moving forward, but you got to love it. Not only now, Cowboys on the road, always concerning, but they're going to a dome with another fast track, George. So I'm not holding out against them, and neither is the market, apparently.
You just named the key thing, right? This is at home would feel great about the Cowboys. They have 5 losses this season. 4 are on the road, and they're all on grass. All right, Carolina, Chicago, Denver, Philadelphia, all on grass. All right, no, not on turf here. The only loss on turf they have is to Arizona when they just pooped the bed on that Monday night before the big trades happened here that really seemed to have fixed the Cowboys here. Detroit's in a lot of trouble. We know that. Amon St. Brown, maybe he plays, maybe he doesn't. He hasn't practiced as of yet here. Maybe he tries to give it a go. He won't be at full strength either way. No Sam Laporta, season-ending IR. There are all sorts of issues here. The offensive line is playing, I guess, so under performance that they try to get Frank Ragnow out of retirement, right? And he's got a hamstring. He's not coming back there. So Detroit has a lot of issues here. And Joe, you're not kidding. The loser tomorrow pretty much is done. All right, this is a playoff game in a lot of, for all intents and purposes here. Should be a great game. I like the Cowboys. And people who know me know I'm a negative Cowboy fan, but I like the Cowboys. I'll take the points here, and I'll go with Dallas to upset the Detroit Lions in Detroit.
It does, George. It makes a lot of sense. And also understand this. Typically, you'd say, okay, you're on the road on a Thursday night game. That's a short work week here. Both of these teams played Thanksgiving, so a full 7 days for each one of these teams to prepare and get ready for it. So that normal, Thursday night could be a bad football game because both teams are banged up. Yes, Amon-Ra St. Brown's going to be out, but from a football perspective, it's a full 7 days, and also 54.5. We are expecting big-time points in this game. I'm interested to see the way it plays out, George, but I also want to get your take here outside of the Dallas Cowboys. The MVP marketplace in the NFL now sees Drake May as the favorite. Matthew Stafford, if they're struggling in a loss, going against the Carolina Panthers. Now, when you look at the numbers, it wasn't all that bad. It was 2 first quarter interceptions, which really doomed them, and then a fumble late. But then you have Dak Prescott, Jordan Love, and Josh Allen. Prescott is a little bit sneaky because we love a comeback story. He lights up that Detroit secondary. Dallas's resurgence. They're not going to win technically by defense the rest of the way. They're going to win on the arm of Dak Prescott and the wide receivers of CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens.
The problem is if you're going to vote for Dak, you want to take your 15-1, they have to make the playoffs, right? You're not going to win MVP if you don't. And by the way, he may need to win the division. Which, by the way, he may need to do that anyway to get to the playoffs. I don't know if they can get the wild card. You look at the odds. If you like the odds, they're 27% to get in the playoffs right now. I mean, it's just not very good. No one's the odds are not really with them there. But yes, Dak is having a fantastic season. He is, other than those games I mentioned on grass earlier in the season where he didn't play all that well. If you don't like Dak, listen, I can still see Josh Allen. All right, that whole team is Josh Allen. I mean, if they go on a run here, maybe he can possibly win it here. It probably will come down to Drake May and Stafford. They both have negatives, right? May has played nobody. I mean, literally, they played, I think, the ranked 32 defenses all season long. They haven't played anyone. Stafford has struggled now 2 of his last 3 games. Sure, they beat Seattle, but he didn't perform all that well a couple of weeks back. And then we know about the interceptions and the fumble on Sunday here. So it is wide open. I do wonder, let's just say everything stays stagnant the way it is now. I do wonder if the voters will hold it against Drake May for not playing anybody. Right, we're playing, you look at the quarterbacks, this team, and listen, you play your schedule. This isn't college. They're not making up their own schedule, right? They're just playing their schedule here, but it doesn't change the fact that they haven't played anybody. All right, it's been an easy schedule here, so I do wonder if the voters will hold it against him. But either way, he's had a really, really good season. I'd probably still give the edge to Stafford right now.
Interesting coming up in the NHL as well there, George. I mean, it's apparently a Colorado world. We're all just living in it. Ridiculous here what they're doing. But I wouldn't sleep necessarily on the Stars moving forward either. I think once Ottinger gets it together, they're gonna be in the conversation later anyway. But they got the Devils coming up here. What are we thinking?
Now, when Stars played last night, Devils did not. That usually automatically makes me look towards the other team because I like the team coming off with fresh legs. Interesting that Ottinger didn't play last night. He is their starting goaltender, but they went with the Smith against the Rangers there. So that's usually the starting goaltender gets the first game, and you get the backup going in the second game. Although the Smith's a pretty good goalie in his own right here. We all know with the Devils, a lot of injuries there, all right? Jack Hughes, the weird cooking incident where he's still not playing. One of the best players in the league here. A lot of noise, by the way, that speaking of Jack Hughes, it's just a matter of time until Quinn Hughes gets traded from Vancouver to join his brothers. Remember, Luke Hughes also on the Devils there. So they have a trio of brothers playing for the Devils. People think it's just a matter of time until that's happening. Vancouver does have an open for business sign right outside the door. They'll trade anybody and everybody right now if they can get the right offer. So normally I would lean towards the Devils here. I think I'm going to go with technically the dog here. I'm going to go with the Stars. They're the better team. I think they rebound. I just don't see them losing 2 in a row.
All right, George, not losing 2 in a row. How about the Philadelphia Flyers? Got wasted by the Pittsburgh Penguins the other night. They're going to take on Buffalo at home at Xfinity Mobile Arena. Sounds terrible to say that. We always like to call it the Wachovia. We call it the Wells Fargo. Now we got to call it the Xfinity Mobile. 5.5 is a total. The Flyers, a slight favorite at FanDuel, -110 now, George. What's up with the Flyers? Can they pull off a dub tonight?
And screw it, it's still a spectrum for me. I don't care.
There you go.
Over is my favorite play here. You're paying for it. It's -138, but 5.5. Buffalo has no defense. They can't stop anybody. Over is my favorite player here. Favorite play here. No Forster for the Flyers. He got hurt Monday night here. He's out 4 to 6 weeks here. A little bit of a loss there. Not a major loss, but a loss here. Give me the over in this game.
Just a couple weeks ago, George was saying he's going to have a bad Thanksgiving. Turn that frown upside down with those Dallas Cowboys. Thanks for joining us, George. Appreciate it. We'll talk to you soon. We'll be right back.
They have a bigger talent pool potentially, and they're going to give them anything it takes to potentially get this team back to a national championship. And if you want to set a legacy, you could maybe have one good year at Ole Miss and maybe potentially, 5 or 6 9-3 campaigns, but you're not going to make the playoff each and every season, or at least that's the mindset. You have a better path at LSU or a bigger school.
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
Now you're a 1 o'clock guy again, huh?
Well, I didn't know I have to appease you.
What do you mean appease me? I'm trying to get a read on you.
Well, that's it. I don't want you to get a read. I zig.
Okay.
What are you? You're on me like flies on rice.
Well, I once watched you destroy an NFL team's season because you zagged so hard in the best bet segment.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
When LeBron James decides he's retiring, it is coming with trumpets blaring, Adam Silver by his side, and he is going on a state-by-state, coast-to-coast tour so that everyone can acknowledge how great he was and give him a parting gift and thank him for his amazing contributions to the NBA.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
The play is our fam. You don't know about our fam? Go look her up on social media. Go look at YouTube. 19-year-old from Spain, 6'6", block shots, runs the floor, rebounds, post up, inside, outside, pop the corn, serve the beer, and it can clean up the mess when you're done eating your meal. This lady is absolutely fantastic.
Pro Basketball Today, only on SportsGrid.
your daily Kalshi, people. You get it right here on the SportsGrid Network. You tune into the early line because we go through all spectrums. Yeah, we'll talk FanDuel, we'll talk DraftKings, we'll talk alternative sources like Kalshi with different ways to put your money involved in sports betting, which includes a stock market level approach. Question today, Joe, we got a couple of them. First one, AFC Championship winner. At Kalshi, it's New England with a 20% chance. Therefore, you roll $100 down, you get $500 back, followed by Denver, the Buffalo Bills, and down the list we go with the Baltimore Ravens, the Colts, and the Chiefs. What this tells me, Joe, we are up in the air. Are we trusting New England from what we're seeing, even though their schedule has been quite easy? Are we trusting the Denver Broncos, who, man, they do win games, but some of these games are a little bit too close for comfort? The Buffalo Bills, we just can't quit Josh Allen. He's at a 16% chance. And then the Baltimore Ravens, ooh, don't count Lamar out. The Indianapolis Colts and Daniel Jones and Shane Steichen. And then there's those Kansas City Chiefs. But I got to tell you, Joe, you see how we're going lower and lower on this list right here? I'm telling you, a nice little wild card down there. You plunk $100 back and get paid $1,429 back on the Houston Texans. How about that, Joe? Where are we looking? AFC Championship winner, not Super Bowl, AFC champion.
Well, I think the AFC is wide open, Donnie.
It is.
And it could be any one of those teams. So the question is, and the thing that is beautiful about the Kalshi markets is that I don't really have to have the winner. I just have to have the team, Donnie, that I think is going to increase in value as the weeks move on. Yeah. And that's how I can make money. And that's exactly what I'll do here because I think there's a couple of teams, to your point, that I would look at. I think Buffalo is going to win a couple of games down the stretch. That number is going to keep rising. I also think that one of the trendiest teams that the schedule favors them will be New England, Donnie. So New England will continue to get love in the market as they continue to beat absolute nobodies here. So, those are two teams that I would bet on, and they're going to face each other in week 15 next week, right?
Yeah.
Hop on board one of them, Donnie, because whoever wins that game, they're going to jump in value and we can cash out.
Absolutely. Cashing out and cashing tickets here. Sometimes you have to wait longer than maybe shorter here. And this next question, you might have to wait a little bit longer. Add a new team in the NBA by 2030. Now, if you have a shoebox under your bed, Joe, with $1 million in cash, and you decided yourself, this is the market you want to jump into, it would pay back $1.25 million. So if you had $1 million, Joe, and you said, I'm going to put $1 million that there will be a new team added, and let's just say it doesn't have to wait till 2030, by the way. They could announce next year they're getting a new team in 2026, and that market would resolve to yes. No doubt in my mind, a new NBA team will be added by 2030. I don't even think it's a question. The only question is, do you want to wait a couple years to get a return on your investment?
I don't think to your point, Donnie, I don't think you'll have to wait till 2030, right? Because they've been trying to get a team back in Seattle for what, forever? And it wouldn't shock me here at all if within the next year to 2 years, especially with the new media deals, that gets announced real quickly here, Donnie. So I don't think you got to wait to 2030 to see expansion in the NBA.
And by the way, Joe, where is that expansion team going to be? If I give you one city that's going to be the expansion, I know where it's going to be. Do you know where it's going to be?
Yeah, well, where are you going to put it? New Hampshire? No, don't think that's going to happen either. So, yeah, I mean, I would think Pacific Northwest would be the someplace over there. Where are you thinking?
I'm thinking a little down south where they go, hey, man, A's, you guys are messing around too much. We need a basketball team here in Las Vegas. And, oh, by the way, LeBron just retired. He's going to front that program, and away they go. Vegas, no doubt in my mind. And you have a good point here. Like, Seattle never should have had an NBA team ripped from them. It really shouldn't have. They'll get one back. So will Vegas. Like, I would even be willing to bet 2 more teams come into the NBA as opposed to 1 more team by 2030, the way it plays out here. Golf. Hey, look, we're going to talk to Keith Stewart here coming up in just a few moments. But on the Kalshi markets, the Hero World Challenge winner. And when I tell you who's the leader in the clubhouse, you're not surprised, Joe. It's Scotty Scheffler at 39% chance, followed by Cameron Young at 7%. It's Scotty season already on the Kalshi marketplace.
It's just absolutely crazy. And you know what? I'm not betting against it. Nope. Absolutely not. And you probably get a better number here than you will by the time this thing tees off. So hurry up, because I'm telling you right now, just about every tournament he's in, he's going to be 2-1 at best, Danny.
I got to ask Keith coming up here about, who are we going to go with here? It's going to be Keegan Bradley. Put $100 down, win $2,000 back on Keegan. We got to get to some updates on the NFL lines for this weekend. You know what? We're going to do it next, right here on the Early Lines.
When LeBron James decides he's retiring, it is coming with trumpets blaring, Adam Silver by his side, and he is going on a state-by-state, coast-to-coast tour so that everyone can acknowledge how great he was and give him a parting gift and thank him for his amazing contributions to the NBA.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
Look at Nikola Jokic. He had kind of gotten himself off to a slow start at the beginning of the year, but that was partially because of that 50-point game that Aaron Gordon had, or it was the Jamal Murray had a big game. But these last 6 or 7 games, he's been putting up video game stats. His 62.8% from the floor would be the best in, I think, 3 or 4 years.
Pro basketball today, only on SportsGrid.
It's stunning to think that, right? And I had the over on the win total, or going into the year with the Patriots, it was 8.5. I thought they could win 10 games. They've already won 10 games. And that is a stunning turnaround, to go from worst to first here. And they're not the only team that could do it. The Jaguars could do it too. They are right on that precipice here if they handle their business against the Titans the next couple weeks and, at least split between the Indianapolis Colts those 2 games.
Fantasy sports today, only on SportsGrid.
Football contest season is back, and so is the Las Vegas Football Contest Show, Season 2, the sharpest football contest show in the land. Focusing on all 3 Circus Sports contests and the Westgate Superbook Super Contest, we handicap the games and release our contest picks every week of the season. Featuring Super Contest champions Brady Cannon, James Salinas, and former NFL player Mike Pritchard, all team will have you prepared this season like none other. Check us out every weekend right here on SportsGrid.
We were just talking on Kalshi about the AFC marketplace and who's going to win the AFC championship for the right to play for a Super Bowl and win a Super Bowl against the NFC. Well, one of those games could be an eliminator type game. AFC South didn't think would be heating up this late in the season because it looked like maybe the Colts would just run away with things. Jacksonville and Indianapolis, the favorite was Indy at -3, Joe. Not anymore. It's down to -1.5 as a favorite towards the Colts on the road to take on Jacksonville. The total listed at 47.5. Daniel Jones still fighting through that broken leg that he has, was able to perform last week, but they did lose that game to the Houston Texans. Rain is in the forecast, so maybe more controlled on the ground. Travis Etienne, Bashal Tutin on one side, going up against the immovable object on the other side that Jonathan Boy can run wild in this game. Is it going to be Johnny? Is it going to be Bashal? Is it going to be ATN? Who's going to win this game?
Well, here's the problem, Donnie. They've had, JT available to them here now for how many games, and yet they have not been able to gain 300 yards in back-to-back games now. Since entering the week 11 bye, they were the top offense in football. Then we find out that Danny Dimes is playing hurt. The big moves that they made on the defensive side, Sauce Gardner now gone, which makes that defense a little less potent here. But teams have figured out, which usually happens this time of year, Donnie, they make adjustments and they realize, well, Daniel Jones isn't as mobile as he once was. As long as we stop the running game, guess what? We're good to go. And I think that's exactly what Jacksonville's planning on doing here. The Jags just closed out a brutal stretch. What, they have 4 road games in 5 weeks, Donnie, and they went 4-1. And the defense is certainly playing well enough, I think, in order to limit a one-dimensional now Indy offense here. I get the line move, and I agree with it.
Yeah, no, it should be one to watch it play out. And I didn't think we would have this struggle late in the season for the Colts, but here we are. Colts lose this game. Now their season feels like it's in peril. And also understand this. Sauce Gardner's not walking through those curtains next weekend to play and say, you know what, I'm here to go. He's down for multiple weeks. We'll see if Jacksonville can rise to the occasion in this game. Another AFC battle, which 2 or 3 weeks ago we probably thought would be an easy victory for the Buffalo Bills. Maybe not the case. Cincinnati back with Joe Burrow, fresh off a victory there on Thanksgiving. And now you turn the table and say to yourself, all right, where do we go from here at this point? 5.5-point spread here for the Buffalo Bills as the favorite, 52.5. Understand this. Waiting for information, is T. Higgins going to become back? Because then you get Burrow, Higgins, Chase, and away you go. This is a fantastic game to watch. And also understand this. Cold weather is back. It's December. It's going to be cold in Buffalo this weekend, Joe.
Yes, it is, but it's not look at that total, Donnie, 51.5, and we could have some weather in Buffalo there. And we just saw with weather exactly. In fact, there were a lot of games this past weekend, Donnie, where weather played a major role, and we got a ton of unders across the NFL. Keep an eye on that lake and the wind coming off it at Orchard Park. And here's a tip, by the way, when you're searching weather, don't put in Buffalo. Put in Orchard Park. 2 totally different worlds when you're searching the weather reports coming up for Sunday. 2 totally different reports, in fact, that could come out. But I can tell you this, if there's any hint of an issue, it's going to be a lot of running in this game, and the under will come very much into play.
Yeah, James Cook, man, looking like that beast now. They ran the ball 51 times against the Pittsburgh Steelers this past weekend. Absolutely incredible. And again, ground game may be the way to victory because that Cincinnati defense, even though they showed up against, Baltimore, different beast there on the other side with a couple good guys that can run and are healthy enough to run the football. Denver and Las Vegas, from Las Vegas, a 7.5-point favorite here for the Denver Broncos and a total of 40.5. Vegas is really bad, but Denver has a penchant for letting teams hang around before beating them late. If they do that again, we'll be like, well, how good are the Denver Broncos? How bad are the Vegas Raiders? I do know the Vegas Raiders are bad, but can we see now Denver going on the East Coast and taking on Washington in a late game where they needed extras, now flying back to Denver, then flying to Las Vegas? We'll see how that comes into it. That 40.5 always hanging in, not because we think the defense is good for Denver. It's just that Las Vegas Raiders offense is putrid.
Yeah, no, it's not good, and I don't know that it's going to get any better anytime soon here. I think that if you like the Raiders and you think maybe there's some lingering effect here, short week, overtime situation for the Broncos, maybe you look somehow to back the Raiders early because I would imagine by the time we get to the second half, that's usually when Denver figures some things out. And we'll go ahead and maybe run away with this one. But there's nothing redeeming about the Raiders outside of this being a division rivalry. And you never know in these types of games, but these two teams are clearly on different paths.
No, they certainly are. It's like Max Crosby, can you get a sack? If not, we can't stop anybody. Ashton Ginty, we drafted up high. You get 2 yards in a cloud of dust. Don't look anywhere near the explosiveness that you had in college football. It's just wild how it turns out. Now, it should be an easy victory for Denver, but as we say, any given Sunday, we've seen crazier things, particularly with those Denver Broncos. Let's go to the Rams and the Arizona Cardinals. Another start here for Jacoby Brissett, and why not? Dude is slinging it all over the football field. Now, the Rams come in as a heavy favorite, minus 8.5 at a lot of outlets here. They just lost last week to the Carolina Panthers in the rain outdoors. Now you're going back indoors. They are a dome team and a total listed at 48.5. I know the Rams have a good defense, exposed a little bit last week where that running game got cranked up for Carolina. The passing game started to come through with Bryce. But now I say to myself, all right, break this one down. Bounce back game. The Rams should do whatever they want against Arizona's defense. But, Joe, Brissett's going to throw the football 40-plus times in this game. We're going to 50 points plus in this one. That's the way I look at this game.
Well, and the reality is Arizona outplayed Tampa Bay last week despite the loss there. They were a little unfortunate, but now they get to go home, and everyone's thinking bounce back spot here. But this is a big number, Donnie, even for the Rams, and Jacoby Brissett has already shown us that even down a couple of touchdowns, this team is never out of it. They have no problem slinging it around And Arizona's getting healthier on defense. It looks like they're going to get Walter Nolan back this week. Will Johnson, their top defensive back, returned last week. Yeah, they could be a lot more competitive at home in this spot with Brissett under center than people think.
Let me ask a question, too. We'll go back to that Buffalo Bills team. And, again, they're playing the Bengals this week, and they certainly need a win. Are we back in on the Buffalo Bills? Are we out on the Buffalo Bills? Because I can't seem to get a read on them. Just when I think they're – and then, again, the Pittsburgh Steelers aren't the end-all, be-all, but they played really good football in the second half. But then I just go back to those Miami games that they let slip away, and they don't play all that well at Houston. What are we led to believe about the Buffalo Bills? That they will get it together? They, the wide receivers will get healthy, the tight ends will get healthy, the tackles will get healthy, and Josh Allen can just make enough plays. What are we led to believe about the Buffalo Bills as a legitimate contender to get to a Super Bowl in the AFC? Because it looks like, Joe, their kryptonite Kansas City shouldn't be an issue this year.
Correct. And what we saw last week is exactly why you can't discount Buffalo. Because their entire plan this year, Donnie, it's a shame they lost Ed Oliver here, but they did get healthier on that defensive front, and you saw it paid dividends in that game against Pittsburgh. That game last week is what they're going to have to do in the postseason, right? So they are built to win games at the end of December and early January. That running game will win them a lot in the postseason. That team shows up, Donnie, when it matters the most. They are almost impossible to beat. So I think that, yes, you can't stick a fork in the Buffalo Bills because how they're built is to win games this time of year.
Yeah, and we'll say again, that running game, which starts to crank up, which should open up that passing game and play action pass, and you get Kincaid back healthy. That offense should be much better.
And that was backup tackles.
Yeah, exactly. Backup tackles. And they ran the ball 50. Again, the energy for Pittsburgh in that game should have been like, we have pass rushers. We are going to beat you up, because the MO in the previous game was, now granted, Houston's defense is better than Pittsburgh's, but Pittsburgh's like, look, Houston just unbelievably crushed that pocket and smashed Josh Allen. We should be able to do something like that. They couldn't do any of that. And they just took the air out of the football and just absolutely hammered them here. Crazy times in Buffalo. We'll see if they can hold on. Keith's coming up next to talk a little golf. Yeah, the Hero World Challenge is on deck, and we'll talk about that next.
When LeBron James decides he's retiring, it is coming with trumpets blaring, Adam Silver by his side, and he is going on a state-by-state, coast-to-coast tour so that everyone can acknowledge how great he was and give him a parting gift and thank him for his amazing contributions to the NBA.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
Look at Nikola Jokic. He had kind of gotten himself off to a slow start at the beginning of the year, but that was partially because of that 50-point game that Aaron Gordon had, or it was the Jamal Murray had a big game. But these last 6 or 7 games, he's been putting up video game stats. His 62.8% from the floor would be the best in, I think, 3 or 4 years.
Pro Basketball Today, only on SportsGrid.
It's stunning to think that, right? And I had the over on the win total, or going into the year with the Patriots, was 8.5. I thought they could win 10 games. They've already won 10 games. And that is a stunning turnaround, to go from worst to first here. And they're not the only team that could do it. The Jaguars could do it too. They are right on that precipice here if they handle their business against the Titans the next couple weeks and, at least split between the Indianapolis Colts those 2 games.
Fantasy Sports Today, only on SportsGrid.
Football contest season is back, and so is the Las Vegas Football Contest Show. Season 2, the sharpest football contest show in the land. Focusing on all 3 Circus Sports contests and the Westgate Superbook Super Contest, we handicap the games and release our contest picks every week of the season. Featuring Super Contest champions Brady Cannon, James Salinas, and former NFL player Mike Pritchard, all team will have you prepared this season like none other. Check us out every weekend right here on SportsGrid.
Freezing cold, rainy in the Northeast here. Oh boy, golf season probably a little bit far off for most of the golfers in the Northeast, unless for those hardy guys that, like I used to do, play the Christmas Eve Invitational in freezing cold weather and get out there with the boys. But today, we need help in the golf environment. Sonny Wright said it's Joe Ranieri. Now we bring in Keith Stewart. The Hero World Challenge is on deck. Keith, how are we feeling about golf? And it's December. We're talking golf. Absolutely we are.
Hey, Donnie, you know what? When Tiger Woods shows up, hosts a press conference at a tournament, we're going to talk about golf. The guy still moves the needle.
Yeah, he does move the needle. And by the way, speaking of move the needle, let's hear from Tiger Woods right now.
It's been very different. The recruiting process now, it's you have cell phones. We didn't have cell phones. We had written letters that would show up and be in the mailbox. And it's like, oh, my God, I got a letter. You know, it's just very different. How fast, coaches can communicate with the family members and the player that's trying to recruit. It's just a different world. And not saying it's good or bad, it's just different. And it's fun to be a part of the process with Charlie and go through it and see where the opportunities that he has created for himself by playing better. The places that he could play, wants to play, and ultimately will decide where he wants to go play.
Keith, we need an update on Tiger. Come on now. What do we got?
Well, right there, he's talking about his son getting recruited for college. And I love how he just says, oh, it's a different world. You think, buddy? Like you're the number one golfer recognized in the world. Your son wants to play college golf somewhere. This is like LeBron's son being recruited to play basketball. Yeah, I think you're going to get a couple of texts or some coaches reaching out. That being said, on the health front, Tiger, not much to say. On the PGA Tour and the future of the PGA Tour, if you read between the lines, Donnie, Joe, he had a lot to say. It looks like change is coming quicker, right? Rather than waiting this out, rather than making the PGA Tour a cruise ship as it's done for so many years, change over successive seasons. I think we're going to see a big change to the schedule in 2027. And Tiger alluded to it several times in his press conference.
I got to ask you, Keith, but is he ever going to play on a Champions Tour? Is that something he has any desire to do, you think? Because they're trying to recruit him, and I get it. But will we ever see him on the Champions Tour?
I think you'll see him in a Champions Major. I could see him wanting to win the U.S. Senior Open. I could see him having a sponsor that's paid him enough money that he goes and plays in one of those events. But more than one or two, if he plays more than I'm going to set the over-under at 3.5. If he plays more than 3.5 Champions Tour events in his career, I'd be surprised. I mean, I think if he goes and he can win the U.S. Senior Open, he would check that box. But other than that, I mean, not many guys have won the U.S. Am, the U.S. Open, and the U.S. Senior Open. That would be something that historically Tiger would want to do. And he won the U.S. Junior, if you want to throw that in too. But other than that, I mean, I think when Tiger's healthy, which he won't ever say, but when he's healthy, we'll see him at his tournament at the Genesis, and we'll see him at Augusta, obviously, and whatever major venues he can walk for 72 holes.
Competitive golf. That's what we want to see Tiger get back to. Who's back to competitive golf? It's Keegan Bradley. Let's hear from Keegan Bradley right now on the Ryder Cup.
Keegan, you're an emotional person and player. That's what makes you you. And you just talked about the gaping hole. You gave yourself an F, and you've talked about the disappointment of losing as captain. How much of an emotional toll can you verbalize did that take on you the weeks after the Ryder Cup?
I mean, the darkest time of my life, probably. I mean, I don't know how else to describe it. Certainly, definitely in my career. But there's always...
Lot of pressure, Keith. Lot of pressure here that he's talking about.
The darkest time of my life. Woo. I mean, this guy showed up to the Skins game on Black Friday, and he smoked the field. I mean, I think he's going to play with a huge chip on his shoulder. Not to give too much away for the hero, but one of my early leans on the early line is definitely Keegan Bradley, for sure. I mean, I think this guy's going to show up to every tournament like he cares, like it is his U.S. Open. He went through that Skins game. I mean, like a Vegematic. He tore those guys up. I mean, it was awesome. It was in the wind. And when you look at this week down there in the Bahamas, they have perfect weather coming. Low 80s, not too much of a breeze, no rain, but Bermuda grass. And that is Keegan Bradley's wheelhouse. He just played on it in the Skins game there at Panther National down in your neighborhood there, Joe. And you know what? Going down to the Bahamas, a place where he's played well, He took his fall off, but you know what? It's obvious he's been working on his game, and he wants to play on that Ireland Ryder Cup team and actually win the Ryder Cup. And I don't think he'll sleep until that happens. So I definitely like him. And if you want to throw one more in, I'm going to look at Bobby Mack too. Bobby Mack has had one heck of a fall. He played great at the BMW, came in runner-up. That's the second round of the FedEx Cup playoffs. Came in runner-up to Scotty, and then he goes and wins the Ryder Cup. He wins the next week over at St. Andrews with a ski cap on at the Dunhill. He has back-to-back top 10s in the DP World Tour playoffs. Bobby Mack down here, again, in the wind with his driver, with his scoring ability. Keegan, Bobby Mack, love those two.
Plus 135, Keith, is what Scheffler is. He's either won the tournament or been runner-up for like every year he's ever been in it. It is his first, I think, competitive, tournament since the Ryder Cup. And from what I understand, he's actually working in new woods and a new driver. Do you anticipate that there'll be a little adjustment period with him maybe early on?
So he doesn't win by 5? Is that what we're saying?
Yeah,
you want to have
exactly.
some fun. Here's the thing, right? Back in my golf professional days, I wasn't called the director of golf. I was called the director of fun. You want to have some fun this weekend, you bet Scotty to win. And then they have this little event going on over there in Australia called the Australian Open. And for the first time, Rory McIlroy's over there playing in it. You take Rory, Scotty, put him in a parlay, Joe, right? You're going to get like 12-1, 13-1, right? And then you'll have a sweat all weekend because those two guys are going to be involved. You think McIlroy's motivated? The fans have shown up in practice rounds, giving him standing ovations. They're so excited that he's there. And don't forget that they're playing Royal Melbourne. That's a historic site. Rory loves his history too, just like Tiger, just like Scotty. He is going to try to win that event as best he can. To win on 2 Mackenzie courses in 1 year, Augusta National and Royal Melbourne, that is more than historic in a year that has been career-defining for one Mr. McIlroy.
Keith Stewart, he's our guy on the PGA Tour. The Hero World Challenge coming up this weekend. We'll talk to Keith Stewart because we are almost at the new calendar year and right up against the Masters. Thanks, Keith, for joining us. We'll talk soon. We'll be right back here on the early line.
When LeBron James decides he's retiring, it is coming with trumpets blaring, Adam Silver by his side, and he is going on a state-by-state, coast-to-coast tour so that everyone can acknowledge how great he was and give him a parting gift and thank him for his amazing contributions to the NBA.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
Look at Nikola Jokic. He had kind of gotten himself off to a slow start at the beginning of the year, but that was partially because of that 50-point game that Aaron Gordon had, or it was the Jamal Murray had a big game. But these last 6 or 7 games, he's been putting up video game stats. His 62.8% from the floor would be the best in, I think, 3 or 4 years.
Pro Basketball Today, only on SportsGrid.
It's stunning to think that, right? And I had the over on the win total, or going into the year with the Patriots, it was 8.5. I thought they could win 10 games. They've already won 10 games. And that is a stunning turnaround, to go from worst to first here. And they're not the only team that could do it. The Jaguars could do it too. They are right on that precipice here if they handle their business against the Titans the next couple weeks and, at least split between the Indianapolis Colts those 2 games.
Fantasy Sports Today, only on SportsGrid.
Football contest season is back, and so is the Las Vegas Football Contest Show. Season 2, the sharpest football contest show in the land. Focusing on all 3 Circus Sports contests and the Westgate Superbook Super Contest, we handicap the games and release our contest picks every week of the season. Featuring Super Contest champions Brady Cannon, James Salinas, and former NFL player Mike Pritchard, all team will have you prepared this season like none other. Check us out every weekend right here on SportsGrid.
Hey, right back at it. Final segment of the day for a Hump Day Wednesday, people. You are almost to the finish line on Friday, but before we get there, a lot more fun, a lot more intrigue, which includes tomorrow night. Once again, the NFL is back in our lives. That's the Dallas Cowboys and the Detroit Lions. But before we get there, this part of the show, we like to reach out to the people and ask them a question and get their opinion. Here's our Fave the Public poll. Follow at SportsGrid on X. You get these questions Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday delivered directly to you. Who is your pick to win the NFC this season? 4 teams were given. The Rams, the Seahawks, the Packers, and the Eagles, all at appropriate price points here. And I'm looking at it as a heavy favorite. Running away with it, Joe, is the favorite in the Los Angeles Rams. Do you agree with that?
Well, I mean, I think they should be getting the love right now, but this could also change big time here, Donnie, over the next couple of weeks, depending on what the results are of some of these games. But I think top to bottom, despite the loss last week against a, this isn't a one-win Carolina team. I mean, this is a legit Carolina team here that now is much better than anybody thought they would be to this point. And, oh, yeah, they got a quarterback that's actually starting to get the game in the NFL level. So I agree. I think the Rams are at this point still a complete enough team that they should be considered the favorite here to win the NFC.
Yeah, you look at those teams, and again, up for grabs. Like, we usually have those real high front runners every single year, the AFC and the NFC. We don't have them, but I still do think pound for pound that it is the Los Angeles Rams. And if the Rams can hold on and have home field advantage, they don't have to go outdoors. They play in the dome. They'll be that much more advantageous. And who knows if the crowd's going to be on their side, because it's always partisan in LA with whoever they're going to play in an NFC championship game. But we'll find those details out the way we go. But that's where our poll sits today. Heavy favorite there on the Rams. And the public goes, yeah, we like the Rams as well. Now, Monday 2-0, Tuesday 2-0. The expectations are Wednesday, 2-0. Here's bye. Pressure's on, getting hot. The boys looking to stay hot on a Wednesday, Joe. The plate is yours right here. How are you going to fill it up? Turkey, mashed potatoes? What are you giving the people out here?
Well, Donnie, we are going to go to the association here. And, last night I looked at this line and it was Miami 2.5 taking on the Dallas Mavericks here. And now I'm looking this morning and it's up to 5.5 with the total hovering around 240.5. But it's very hard for me to look at this Miami team with the way they're playing and how healthy they finally are, having Tyler Hero and Bam back. I mean, they just dropped 140 points again on the Clippers, which is, I get it. It's the Clippers and they're terrible. But let's not forget, this is a Dallas team who's still trying to figure it out, who lost 15 of the first 20 games of the season, Donnie. They're actually going for their first 3-game winning streak right now. So, yay. But listen, I don't know that Anthony Davis is going in this game here tonight. I do know they've picked up the tempo to try to get Cooper Flagg involved and brought in Nembhard. I like Miami to get it done here. I think it's just too much offense. They are too healthy, too up-tempo. I think they get it done in Dallas here tonight.
How about that? For me, I'm also going to the association, which I went to last night, and I told you, fly, Pelicans, fly. They almost actually won the game outright, went to overtime, getting 10 points. That was enough, even in a game without Zion, and the spread went to 13.5, and it didn't matter. The 10 was just enough. We're going to do the same thing tonight. Not a lot of people are loving the Indiana Pacers this year. Is almost taking a step back from what we saw last year due to injuries and players leaving during free agency. And the Denver Nuggets, with Nikola Jokic, you can't go against them. We are going to do that once again today. Why? The Indiana Pacers are getting 7.5 points at home. That's not the question mark. The question is the Nuggets are getting 7 out of every 10 tickets on an opening line of 7.5, and the line still sits this morning at 7.5. Indiana Pacers is my public fade of the day, continuing to make us money tonight. Go, sir. Yes, sirs, as they like to say. How about that, Joe?
Yeah, I like it. I mean, listen, there are injury concerns on Denver now, and the Pacers, despite their faults, always competitive at home, Donnie. So, yeah, I'm with you here.
Let's do it. A sweep in the NBA tonight. When you wake up tomorrow, Dallas and Detroit, exciting action times, overs, unders, sides, and totals, and away we go. And that gets us one more day closer to Friday, where it's Championship Friday. And then Saturday, it's Championship Saturday. Then, yes, Joe, we get the NFL on Sunday, but we'll know exactly who's in the college football playoff on Sunday. How do you feel, Joe? The energy. You want to go another 2 hours? You want to go another 2 hours right now? By the way, technically we are going to go another 2 hours next. You just wait and see. We'll see you bright and early tomorrow morning.